DC, we cut the chit-chat a-hole.
This year we're going to grab the bull by the balls and kick those punks off campus.
Well, looks like the cows have come home to roost.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the entertainment.ie movie show, brought to you by our friends at Odeon Cinemas. We have some darkest hour goodies to give away to anybody who comments below with their favourite Gary Oldman movie. We're going to talk darkest hour in a couple of minutes with the lads, but comment below with your favourite Gary Oldman movie for a chance to win, and we'll pick somebody at random and you can win some darkest hour shit. Class. Joined as always by Brian Lloyd and Dean Malumik. Don't interrupt me when I'm introducing you. Joined as always by Brian Lloyd and Dean Malumik. Now you may continue, Brian. Now you may continue.
I was going to say
hosts.
I was going to say my favourite Gary Oldman performance.
Nobody cares.
Dracula. If anybody cares.
Nobody cares. Didn't ask for you.
Just saying, it's the question of the week, so it's like...
They can come up with their own, Brian.
I know that.
Don't
just offer an opinion.
Don't insult our viewers, Brian, and our readers. God, he's so
Stop laughing, Fiona.
He's so condescending. All those DC Universe people are emailing and giving out what Brian are right. Anyway, Brian, let's talk about the darkest hour. Sorry, it's just darkest hour, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's talk about this, because Gary Oldman just won the Best Actor award in drama.
Yep.
In the Golden Globes there on Sunday evening.
He did be good.
So he's the favourite now. He plays Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
What period of time is this set over? The war is 39 to 45.
Yeah, I think it's just before he was elected as Prime Minister. So it's him forming the war cabinet. And then him kind of, how he decided to fill the war cabinet was that he basically filled it with his political enemies. So one of them was a guy called Lord Halifax, who is played by Stephen Delan, who you'll know as Stannis Baratheon from Game of Thrones. And also as well, he doesn't exactly enjoy the full confidence of the king, who's played by Ben Mendelsohn, and he was played by Colin Firth in The King's Speech. Yeah, King George the Fifth, I want to say. Let's say the fifth. Anyways, yeah, so it's him kind of basically trying to navigate all the political waters. Okay.
Because they were throwing him in the deep end. That was the whole thing. They were it's a punishment. Him, like with Churchill been awarded, Prime Minister or whatever, getting a Prime Minister role in the middle of wartime or impending wartime. Yeah, and the whole point of it was that they more or less kind of were assuming that Britain was going to sue for peace with Germany to try kind of stop the advance. And the kind of the reasoning behind it was, and they go through this in the film, is that they basically wanted Churchill to sign a peace accord, rather, but he was like, no, the Nazis are going to screw us. The Nazis are the enemy. You can't reason. In retrospect, seems kind of obvious, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Yeah,
screw us.
It does.
He saw that coming.
But no, but even at that,
like, seems so organised.
It does, but like when they go into it in the film, it's sort of like, no, the British were like basically almost starved out of it, like that sort of way, that like they had to introduce rationing. It was like there were 90 days from complete starvation and complete capitulation and all this kind of thing. So it's really kind of like they really kind of get into the pressure of it, and that like it was all on him to try save it. Now that's maybe a lionized version of what happened.
Ooh, you're getting all political.
See that?
Go, let's do this.
Well, do you want me to get political?
Sure,
No,
get political, yeah.
Well,
you'll get sued. I want. That's grand. Like, or you'll get the abuse. Well, so who hates you? Like, let's do a quick kind of bar chart, what do you call it, pie chart thing?
Pie chart.
Okay, so Big Bang Theory fans, really hate you. Mm-hmm. DC Universe call the office and ask you to be sacked. Let's just add British people to that. Like Charlotte Reid, brilliant. Yeah. For anybody, obviously you can't see, Charlotte Reid just went.
Yeah, kind of nodded. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm not going to get into that because I just won't. But I do think as you're watching it, you are very much getting like the kind of the Hollywoodized version of what happened. That sort of way. That
obviously, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
It's a movie, so
and
this is Joe Roy who directed Atonement. It's very good at that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. Hannah directed a Hannah movie to Saoirse Ronan. Yeah,
and he did Anna Karenina a couple of years ago as well. So he's known for making these really, I would say, overwrought films that are very everything is so dramatic and everything, like the music is really overpowering, and like he really does kind of hammer home
stylized period pieces.
Exactly. Yeah, very, very stylized. And some people can kind of look at that and think, God, like you could do this with a bit more subtlety. Like even Dunkirk, like even though it's very much set in that period, it wasn't as stylized, that sort of way.
Yeah, it's an interesting comparison with Dunkirk, because they're obviously based around the same time.
Oh yeah,
I mean, literally any correlations there.
Not really, no, because like Dunkirk.
You mentioned King's Speech, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, like Darkest Hour basically ends with Dunkirk. And then you have Dunkirk, which was...
That's a nice kind of little companion thing, isn't it?
I suppose you could kind of view it as like, this is what happened before Dunkirk, and then here's what Dunkirk is. I still think Dunkirk is the better film. I mean, I really do think Dunkirk is the better film.
You like this one, though? You give this one 4 stars.
I did, yeah. And that was all down to Gary Oldman's performance. I mean, Gary Oldman is carrying this film. You know, that sort of way. Like, it is very much his film. It's his performance. He completely disappears into the role. Like, I mean, he put on the weight. And
prosthetics look amazing.
With the prosthetics and everything.
You wouldn't recognise him at all.
Yeah, you wouldn't recognise him. But even more than that is the fact that, I mean, it's not just the accent and, like, he gets the whole kind of bullish kind of demeanour of him. But he really kind of understands what makes him tick. He's like one of these people. Churchill is portrayed as one of these people who, like, I can never question myself. I can never question what I've done. I've made the right decision. This is 100% the right decision. So now I'm just going to beat myself into it. Even if I may have my own doubts, I won't allow those doubts to get the better of me. Which is an interesting role to play for somebody like
Churchill's one of these highly revered characters in the trawls of history. Not just by the British, kind of by... the masses as a whole.
Well, not by the Bengalis.
Not the Bengalis.
But we'll talk about that another day.
He got political. So they don't go into the Bengali stuff right now.
No, well, there was a famine that he was basically responsible for. Ooh. Coming at me!
God,
sorry.
Just like you're so angry. Let's move on, Dig.
I've
had enough of his guff already. Like, give a film 4 stars and moan about it. Like,
I'm not moaning about it. He was really good in it.
Good. Okay. All right. Calm down, Brian. Jesus Christ. The vegan diet has gone well. Then it's gone really well. Have you gotten into the meat?
No, I haven't. I haven't eaten meat since January 1st.
Weren't you saying the other day like cheese kind of was?
Yeah, I'm eating way more cheese now, which is not.
Are you allowed?
Yeah.
You're allowed to eat cheese?
I'm just not allowed to eat meat. I said I wouldn't eat meat.
Oh, okay.
So it's vegetarian, not vegan?
No, I was going to be vegan, then I was like, I can't do vegan. Like, that's crazy. Like,
threw the towel already. He's a disgrace, isn't he? Anyway, let's talk about 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Ebbing, Missouri.
It's Mark McDonagh's latest film. In Bruges is kind of considered a cult classic. Still his best film. I quite like Seven Psychopaths. I know, Brian, you weren't a fan of it.
I really liked it too. Yeah, I watched it on Netflix over the weekend because I was curious to see it. Because it came up on my feed and I was like, well, it's Martin McDonagh. Might as well watch it.
Before you went to see 3 Billboards. Frances McDormand is just a powerhouse of an actor.
Yes.
And it's she's one of those actors, I think, that although she won an Oscar for Fargo, I think in the 90s, she's never really been given her dues or the roles that she should have gotten outside of the Coen Brothers movies.
Yeah, she was in a few Coen Brothers movies since. I know that Burn After Reading, like, that just kind of totally flopped. Like, she was great in that as well, but it just didn't kind of work for her. Yeah, she just hasn't been getting the meaty roles, I suppose. And she didn't really do TV, did she? And TV is kind of where it's at now, isn't it?
But I mean, this is the meaty of meaty roles. She's incredible in this.
Yeah, she is amazing. I mean, like, the 3 leads in this, in fairness, are fantastic. Frances McDormand, Woody Harrelson I loved as well. Sam Rockwell really came into his own in the second half of the movie, and I thought he was brilliant as well. In fact, the acting across the board was brilliant. You have some great supports in there from Peter Dinklage, Caleb Landry Jones.
Very funny scenes.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, but I love Caleb Landry Jones as well. Like, he was in Remember American Made last year.
Yeah,
and he was really good in that as well. I really like him. And there's the actress who, I'm sorry, I forget the name of. She was in 7 Psychopaths as well. She plays Woody Harrelson's wife in this, and she played Colin Farrell's wife in 7 Psychopaths.
Is that Leslie Bibb?
No, it's not Leslie Bibb. No. Australian actress.
I can't.
Oh, Abby Cornish.
Abby Cornish.
Yes, I think that's it. Yeah. So great acting all round. For me, it was kind of, I don't know. First of all, the start of it kind of annoyed me, and I had a similar reaction to 7 Psychopaths, to be honest. The whole kind of just F this and F that to kind of start the story off and to get people laughing, I think is kind of cheap, to be honest.
I laughed the second you started. We're about more. I'll do like, person's funny.
Person's great crack.
I don't know. I personally thought it was a bit cheap.
But once you get a bit more nuance than that, McDonagh's dialogue, to be fair. But
it is good.
You mean like kind of grabs the attention?
Yeah, and no, definitely. I just felt like it kind of started off like trying to go for like the shock factor, but definitely once the story kind of got into its own rhythm and everything, it was very good. But overall, I didn't feel like it was as kind of, I want to say, whole as 7 Psychopaths and
7 Psychopaths was not considered a failure, but kind of as a follow-up to In Bruges. embraced nearly as much.
It didn't kind of work. No, I mean, it had a very kind of Tarantino-esque quality to it, which I actually quite
that
liked.
opening scene that
exactly. And even like when Sam Rockwell, who is also in it, describes the shootout, and then it kind of comes to life. I thought that scene was absolute gas. That was very funny, but no, it just didn't feel. Maybe he was trying to like do too much with it, and I know that the movie's received a lot of criticism for how it kind of redeems the police brutality, and there are kind of issues of like race in there and everything that he doesn't like really kind of integrate properly into the script.
McDonagh's always kind of done that though, and I mean he did it in some of the lines in Bruges, are like that's specifically, and some of his plays that he's done.
Yes,
they're kind of designed to provoke. Like I mean, I didn't have a problem. Like 'cause I've seen this, I reviewed this for the site. I didn't have a problem with dialogue or any of the stuff that would be perceived as shocky. That, you know, those type of words or type of phrasing that he uses, or little subplots that aren't really properly fully explored. I think when you go to a Martin McDonagh movie or Martin McDonagh play, you kind of expect that slightly off-kilter thing. The issue I had with it, and I mean there wasn't many, it's like I totally agree with you. The three main performances are flawless. And I think when Woody Harrelson isn't on screen, when Woody Harrelson isn't in the film, it suffers. And that was an issue for me because it's just great and it's just a really good role. After that, though, the final third of the film just got a little bit shaky for me. We don't want to give anything away, but it just takes a certain turn, and I just didn't quite buy it. But I mean, still solid. And
and I think Sam Rockwell, in fairness, again, trying not to give away anything, he did kind of help kind of bring it to that like conclusion. And I did think that of all four awards that it won at the Golden Globes, I didn't think it was best drama. I have to be honest, because there was Dunkirk in there, even The Shape of Water, even The Post. I think the three of those were better films.
It's so spread, isn't it? I think then we'll probably talk about the awards, but now it's so spread now. We had the Golden Globe special on Monday. And I was listening to something this morning, and they were kind of talking about how last year was a backlash against La La Land. They feel like this year there's going to be a backlash against Three Billboards.
It's already started.
Because it's like, we're kind of discussing the Ringer podcast with Bill Simmons, and they were kind of discussing Lady Bird and how good Lady Bird is, and saying, I hope there's not a backlash. And the consensus was to be more of a backlash against Three Billboards. Because it's difficult for those smaller movies to live up to the hype, really, Brian, isn't it? Sometimes
I don't know if it's I don't necessarily think the problem with Three Billboards is about hype. I think it's what Dee was saying. It's the fact that there are a lot of parts of this film that are very provocative. That you know, when you look at what's going on in America at the minute with regards to race relations and stuff like this, and police brutality and all that kind of thing, and this film is kind of like thumbing its nose at it and sort of taking it head on. Now, that is Martin McDonagh's style. He is a provocative writer and director. Like, you look at any of his plays, like Abandoned in Spokane or any of that stuff, he really does like shove it up to people. You know, that's the way he really does kind of get in their face.
You kind of want you to have these characters, see these characters who you may not find despicable, but there's something about them. You're like, that's just and he wants to spin them on you. And that seemed to be the you know, the aim, I suppose, with In Bruges, characters in Bruges and Seven Psychopaths to a certain degree, and this.
But the thing about Three Billboards is the primary story is Frances McDormand's, in that it's about a woman who is seeking revenge and trying to find out the killer of her daughter, and the fact that he's also trying to bring in these really big, really complicated issues as well, like as a side plot. I think that was what people found so problematic.
You haven't seen this one, Brian?
I haven't seen it, no, but I mean, I don't think if Lady Bird, I mean, we were saying this off air, like the fact that Martin McDonagh was nominated for Best Director and Greta Gerwig was not nominated for Best Director, I think is a load of crap.
The Golden Globes is the Hollywood Foreign Press.
I know that,
but
it's
kind of random voting.
It is. I think
when it comes down to peers and the Academy screeners and stuff getting out there, I'd be very surprised if Greta Gerwig was nominated for Best Director.
Then again, she was nominated for a BAFTA.
Well, the BAFTAs are a funny old bunch as well.
Yeah, they're kind of weird as well. And the winners always end up really weird with the BAFTAs.
I
think there's an element of who can turn up? Who's going to head along?
Be a bit like that.
Anyway. Okay, Insidious, the last key.
The last
key?
It's something about a key.
We're struggling over this one because they didn't press screen it, which is never really a good sign.
No.
But saying that, I really liked the first two Insidious movies. The last 15-20 minutes of the first one notwithstanding, there were some superb scares in that film. And Patrick Wilson, we were just talking about how great Patrick Wilson
who's a great singer, has a beautiful singing voice.
He's not in this one though.
No,
he's not in this one.
He was smart though. He got out in the first one. He was like, "Yep, okay, that's it."
He's in the second one, isn't he?
He's in it for like about he's
just in the second one. He is. He's in the second one. It's like it's based around them again. No,
I wouldn't know. These are the kind of horror movies I completely avoid.
No, hang on. No, hang on.
These movies.
He's not. Is he?
He is in the second one, Brian. Anyway. Fact check Brian. Fact check Brian. That's it. We're just going to call him Brian. Fact check Lloyd with 2 L's or whatever way you spell it. Anyway, let's leave it there, Brian. Let's leave it there. Does anybody know what's coming out? Does anybody know what's coming out next week? Why would we?
No, I do know. The Post, The Commuter, and Coco.
Ooh, and we might have an interview with Liam Neeson next week as well. There you go.
That's exciting.
Has a particular set of skills. Acting is one of them. I'm gonna open with that. Wait for that next week.
Wait, I hope he decks you. I hope he decks you if you say that to him. I actually hope he just because he was a puncher. He was a puncher. Do you hear me? Boxer. He was a really good boxer back in the day.
Slapped you around, did he? How do you know?
I met him last year for Silence, and he was lovely.
He still seemed like a very nice man. He's one of our greatest exports as an actor. Yeah, I'd like to see him in a Mark McDonagh movie. Anyway, we've trailed off way too much. Huge thanks to Charlotte Reid in production, and we'll see you next Friday at 1 o'clock.